Astrophel and Stella. Complete by Sidney, Sir. Sonnet I louing in trueth, and fayne in verse my loue to show, that she, dear Shee, might take some pleasure of my paine. Pleasure might cause her reade. Reading might make her know. Knowledge might pittie winne, and pittie grace obtaine. I sought fit words to paint the blackest face of woe. Studying Inuentions fine, her wits to entertaine, oft turning others' leaues, to see if thence would flow some fresh and fruitful showers vpon my sunburnt brain. But words came halting forth, wanting Inuention's stay. Inuention, nature's childe, fledde step dame studies blows, and others' feet still seemed but strangers in my way. Thus, great with childe to speak, and helpless in my throes, biting my trewand pen, beating myself for spite, fool, said my Muse to me, look in thy heart, and write. Sonnet II not at the first sight, nor with a dribbed shot, loue the wound, which, while I breathe, will bleed. But known worth did in tract of time proceed, till by degrees, it had full conquest got. I saw and licked. I licked but loued not. I loued, but straight did not what loue decreed. At length, to loue's decrees I, forked, agreed, yet with repining at so partial lot. Now, ewen that footstep of lost liberty is gone. And now, like slough-born musqueat, I call it praise to suffer tyranny, and no employ the remnant of my wit to make myself bellow that all is well, while, with a feeling skill, I paint my hell. Sonnet III let dainty wits cree on the sisters nine, that, browly masked, their fancies may be told. Or, Pindar's apes, flaunt they in phrases fine, enamelling with pied flowers their thoughts of gold. Or else let them in statelier glory shine, ennobling new-found tropes with problemes old. Or with strange similes enrich each line, of herbs or beasts which Ind or Afric hold. For me, in sooth, no muse but one I know, phrases and problems from my reach do grow, and strange things cost too dear for my poor sprites. How then, ewen thus? In Stella's face I read what loue and beauty be, then all my deed but copying is, what in her nature writes. Sonnet IV virtu, alas, now let me take some rest. Thou set'st a bait between my will and wit. If vain loue how my simple soul oppressed, leaues what thou lick'st not, deal thou not with it. Thy sceptre vse in some old cateau's breast, churches or schools are for thy seat more fit. I do confess, pardon a fault confessed. My mouth too tender is for thy hard bit, but if that needs thou wilt usurping be the little reason that is left in me, and still t'effect of thy persuasions proue, I swear, my heart such one shall show to thee, that shrines in flesh so true a deity, that, virtue, thou thyself shalt be in loue. Sonnet V it is most true, that eyes are formed to surround the inward light, and that the heowenly part ought to be king, from whose rules who do swerue, rebels to nature, striue for their own smart. It is most true, what we call Cupid's dart and image is, which for ourselves we carue, and, fools, adore in temple of our heart, till that good God make church in churchminsteru. True, that true beauty virtue is indeed, whereof this beauty can be but a shade, which, elements with mortal mixture breed. True, that on earth we are but pilgrims made, and should in soul up to our country mue. True, and yet true that I must Stella loue. Sonnet V some loues speak, when they their muses entertaine, of hopes begot by fear, of wot not what desires, of force of heowenly beams infusing hellish pain, of louing deaths, dear wounds, fair storms, and freezing fires. Someone his song in Ewe and Ewe's strange tales attires, bordered with bulls and swans, podred with golden rain. Another, humbler wit, to shepherd's pipe retires, yet hiding royal bloud full oft in rural vein. To some a sweetest plaint a sweetest style affords, while tears pour out his inky, and sighs breathe out his words, his paper pale despair, and pain his pen doth mue. I can speak what I feel, and feel as much as they, but think that all the map of my state I display when trembling voice brings forth, that I do Stella loue. Sonnet I. When nature made her chief work, Stella's eyes, in color black, why wrapped she beams so bright? Would she in beamy black, like painter wise, frame daintiest lustre, mixed of shades and light? Or did she else that sober hue deweys, in object best to knit in strength our sight? Least, if no veil these brow gleams did disguise, they, sunlike, should more dazzle than delight? Or would she her miraculous power show, that, whereas black seems beauty's contrary, she ewen in black doth make all beauties flow? Both so, and thus, she, minding loue should be placked ewer there, gow him this morning weed to honor all their deaths who for her bleed. Sonnet VIII. Loue, born in Greece, of late fled from his native place, fort, by a tedious proof, that Turkish hardned heart is not fit mark to pierce with his fine pointed dart, and pleased with our soft peace, stayed here his flying race. But, finding these north climes too coldly him embrace, not vsde to frozen clips, he strow to find some part where with most ease and warmth he might employ his art. At length he perched himself in Stella's joyful face, whose fair skin, beamy eyes, like morning sun on snow, deceived the quaking boy, who thought, from so pure light, effects of lowly heat must needs in nature grow. But she, most fair, most cold, made him thence take his flight to my close heart, where, while some firebrands he did lay, he burnt. Vn wears his wings, and cannot flee away. Sonnet X. Queen Virtue's court, which some call Stella's face, prepared by nature's choicest furniture, hath his front built of alabaster pure. Gold is the coring of that stately place. The door, by which sometimes comes forth her grace, red porphyr is, which lock of pearl makes sure, whose porches rich, which name of checks and dur, marble, mixed red and white, doe interlace. The windows now, through which this heavenly guest looks o'er the world, and can find nothing such, which dare claim from those lights the name of best, of touch they are, that without touch do touch, which Cupid's self, from beauty's mind did draw. Of touch they are, and poor. I am their straw. Sonnet X. Reason. In faith thou art well serued that still wouldst brabbling be with sense and loue in me. I rather wished thee climb the Muse's hill, or reach the fruite of nature's choicest tree, or seek Haoun's course or Haoun's inside to see. Why shouldst thou toil our thorny swall to till? Leaues sense, and those which senses objects be. Deal thou with powers of thoughts, leaues loue to will. But thou wouldst needs fight with both loue and sense, with sword of wit guing wounds of dispraise, till downright blows did foil thy cunning fence. For, soon as they strake thee with Stella's rays, reason, thou kneel'dst, and offeredst straight to prove, by reason good. Reason her to loue. Sonnet XI. In truth, O loue, with what a boyish kind thou doest proceed in thy most serious ways, that when the Haoun to thee his best displays, yet of that best thou layest the best behind a. For, like a childe that some fair book doth find, with gilded leaues or colored vellum plays, or, at the most, on some fine picture styes, but noyer heeds the fruit of writer's mind. So when thou saw'st, in nature's cabinet, Stella, thou straight look'st babies in her eyes. In her check's pit thou didst thy pitfold set, and in her breast bo peep or crouching lies, playing and shining in each outward part. But, fool, seek'st not to get into her heart. Sonnet XII. Cupid, because thou shin'st in Stella's eyes that from her locks thy day nets none scapes free, that those lips swelled so full of thee they be, that her sweet breath makes off thy flames to rise, that in her breast thy pap well sugared lies, that her grace gracious makes thy wrongs, that she, what words soe'er she speak, persuades for thee, that her clear voice lifts thy fame to the skies. Thou countest Stella thine, like those whose powers howing got vp a breach by fighting well. Cree victory, this fair day all is ours. Oh no! Her heart is such a citadel, so fortified with wit, stored with disdain, that to win it is all the skill and pain. Sonnet 13. Phoebus was Iudge between Loue, Mars, and Loue, of those three gods, whose arms the fairest were. Loue's golden shield did sable eagles bear, whose talons held young Ganem de Bouet. But in vert field Mars bare a golden spear, which through a bleeding heart his point did show. Each had his creased. Mars carried Venus Glue, Loue on his helmet the thunderbolt did rear. Cupid then smiles, for on his crest there lies Stella's fair hair. Her face he makes his shield, where roses gules are born in Seluere field. Phoebus drew wide the curtains of the skies, to blaze these last, and swear doyoutly then, the first thus match, were scantly gentlemen. Sonnet 14. Alas, how I not paine enough, my friend, vpon whose breast a fiercer gripe doth tire than did on him who first stale down the fire, while loue on me doth all his keywre spend, but with your rhubarb words ye must contend to grieve me worse, in saying that desire doth plunge my well-formed soul ewen in the mire of sinful thoughts, which do in ruin end. If that be sin which doth the manners frame, well stayed with truth in word and faith of deed, ready of wit, and fearing naught but shame. If that be sin which in fixed hearts doth breed a loathing of all loose vnchastity, then loue is sin, and let me sinful be. Sonnet 15. You that do search for Uri purling spring which from the ribs of old Parnassus flows, and Uri flower, not sweet perhaps, which grows near thereabouts, into your posy ring. Ye that do dictionaries methode bring into your rhymes, running and rattling rows. You that pour Petrarch's long deceased woes with new-born sighs and denizened wit do sing. You take wrong ways. Those far-fed helps be such as do beare a want of inward touch, and sure, at length stole and goods do come to light. But if, both for your loue and skill, your name you seek to nurse at fullest breasts of fame, Stella behold, and then begin to indite. Sonnet 16. In nature, apt to like, when I did see beauties which were of many carats fine, my boiling sprites did thither then incline, and, loue, I thought that I was full of thee, but finding not those restless flames in me, which others said did make their souls to pine, I thought those babes of some pin's hurt did whine, by my soul iudging what loue's paine might be. But while I thus with this young lion plaid, mine eyes, shall I say cursed or blessed, beheld Stella. Now she is namned, need more be said? In her sight I a lesson knew how spelled, I now how learn de loue right, and learn de ewen so as they that being poison know. Sonnet 17. His mother dear, Cupid offended late, because that Mars, grown slacker in her loue, with pricking shot he did not throughly mouet to keep the place of their first louing state. The boy refused for fear of Mars's hate, who threatened stripes if he his wrath did prue. But she, in chafe, him from her lap did show, break bowie, break shafts, while Cupid weeping sat, till that his grandame nature, pitying it, of Stella's brows made him two better bows, and in her eyes of arrows infinite. Oh how for Ioy he leaps! Oh how he crows! And, straight therewith, like wags new got to play, falls to shrewd turnas. And I was in his way. Sonnet 18. With what sharp checks I in myself am shent when into reason's audite I do go, and by iust counts myself a bankrout know of all those goods which he owen to me hath lent, unable quite to pay ewen nature's rent, which viento it by birthright I do owe, and, which is worse, no good excuse can show, but that my wealth I how most idly spent. My youth doth waste, my knowledge brings forth toys, my wit doth strive those passions to defend, which, for reward, spoil it with vain annoys. I see, my course to lose myself doth bend. I see, and yet no greater sorrow take than that I lose no more for Stella's sake. Sonnet 19. On Cupid's bowie how are my heartstrings bent, that see my rack, and yet embrace the same. When most I glory, then I feel most shame. I willing run, yet while I run repent. My best wits still their own disgrace innuent. My very inky turn straight to Stella's name, and yet my words, as them my pen doth frame, always them leaues that they are vainly spent. For though she passe all things, yet what is all that viento me, who fare like him that both looks to the skies and in a ditch doth fall? O let me prop my mind, yet in his growth, and not in nature for best fruits vnfit. Schaller, saith loue, bend hitherward your wit. Sonnet XX fly, my friends. I how my death's wound, fly. See there that boy, that moorthring boy I say, who like a the fa hid in dark bush doth lie, till blowdy bullet get him wrongful prey. So, tyrant he no fitter place could spee, nor so fair leauel in so secret stay, as that sweet black which veils the haonly eye, there with his shot himself he close doth lay. Poor passenger, pass now thereby I did, and stayed, pleased with the prospect of the place, while that black hue from me the bad guest hid. But straight I saw the motions of lightning grace, and then descried the glisterings of his dart. But ere I could flee thence, it pierced my heart. Sonnet 21. Your words, my friend, write healthful caustics, blame my young mind marred, whom loue doth windless so, that mine own writings, like bad seruants, show my wits quick in vain thoughts, in virtue lame. That Plato I read for naught, but if he tame such coltish years, that to my birth I owe nobler desires, lest else that friendly foe, great expectation, wear a train of shame. For since mad March great promise made of me, if now the May of my years much decline, what can be hopped my haruest time will be? Sure, you say well, your wise dome's golden mind dig deep with learning's spade. Now tell me this, hath this world aught so fair as Stella is? Sonnet 22. In highest way of Hayao and the sun did ride, progressing then from fair Twinna's golden place, howing no mask of clouds before his face, but streaming forth of heat in his chief pride. When some fair ladies, by hard promise tied, on horseback met him in his furious race, yet each prepared with fans well shading grace from that foe's wounds their tender skin as to hide. Stella alone, with face vn armed marked, either to do like him which open shone, or careless of the wealth, because her own. Yet were the hid and meaner beauties parch, her dainties bare went free. The cause was this, the sun, that others burned, did her but kiss. Sonnet 23. The curious wits, seeing dull pensiveness bewray itself in my long settled A's, whence those same fumes of melancholy rise, with idle pains and missing aim do guess. Some, that know how my spring I did address, deem that my muse some fruit of knowledge plies. Others, because the prince my seruce tries, think that I think state errors to redress. But harder I udges iudge ambition's rage, scourge of itself, still climbing slippery place, holds my young brain captivated in golden cage. O fools, or our wise! Alas, the race of all my thoughts hath neither stop nor start, but only Stella's eyes in Stella's heart. Sonnet 24. Rich fools there be whose base and filthy heart lies hatching still the goods wherein they flow, and damning their own leaues to tantals smart, wealth breeding want, more rich, more wretched grow. Yet to those fools Haowen doth such wit impart as what their hands do hold, their heads do know, and knowing loue, and louing lay apart as sacred things, far from all dangers show. But that rich fool, who by blind fortunes lot the richest gem of loue and life enjoys, and can with foul abuse such beauties blot, let him, deprived of sweet but vn felt ioys, exiled for aye from those high treasures which he knows not, grow in only folly rich. Sonnet 25. The wisest Schaller of the white, most wise by Phoebus' doom, with sugared sentence says, that virtue, if it once met with our eyes, strange flames of loue it in our souls would raise. But for that man with paine this truth descries, whiles he each thing in senses balance weighs, and so nor will nor can behold those skies which inward sun to heroic mind displays. Virtue of late, with virtuous care to stir loue of herself, took Stella's shape, that she to mortal eyes might sweetly shine in her. It is most true For since I her did see, virtue's great beauty in that face I prue, and find th effect, for I do burn in loue. Sonnet 26. Though dusty wits dare scorn astrology, and fools can think those lamps of purest light whose numbers, ways, greatness, eternity, promising wonders, wonder do annuitate to how for no cause birthright in the sky but for to spangle the black weeds of night, or for some brawl which in that chamber they should still dance to please a gazer's sight. For me, I do nature vn idle know, and know great causes great effects procure, and know those bodies high reign on the low. And if these rules did fail, proof makes me sure, who oft foresee my after following race, by only those 2 stars in Stella's face. Sonnet 27. Because I oft in dark abstracted guise see me most alone in greatest company, with dearth of words, or answers quite hoary, to them that would make speech of speech arise. They deem, and of their doom the run hour flies, that poison foul of bubbling pride doth lie so in my swelling breast, that only I fawn on myself, and others do despise. Yet pride I think doth not my soul possess, which looks too oft in his flattering glass. But one worse fault, ambition, I confess, that makes me oft my best friends o'erpass, seen, heard, while thought to highest place bends all his powers, viento. Stella's grace. Sonnet 28. You that with allegories curious frame of others' children changelings vse to make, with me those pains, for God's sake, do not take. I list not dig so deep for brazen fame. When I say Stella I do mean the same princess of beauty for whose only sake the reigns of loue, though noyer slake, and ioi. Therein, though nations count it shame, I beg no subct to vse eloquence, nor in hid ways to guide philosophy. Look at my hands for no such quintessence, but know that I in pure simplicity breathe out the flames which burn within my heart. Loue only reading viento me this arte. Sonnet 29. Like some weak lords neighbored by mighty kings, to keep themselves in their chief cities free, do easily yield that all their coasts may be ready to store their camps of needful things. So Stella's heart, finding what power loue brings to keep itself in life and liberty, doth willing grant that in the frontiers he vse all to help his other conquerings. And thus her heart escapes, but thus her eyes surround him with shot, her lips his heralds are, her breasts his tents, legs his triumphal car, her flesh his food, her skin his armor brow. And I, but for because my prospect lies vpon that coast, I'm given vp for slough. Sonnet XXX. Whether the Turkish new moon minded be to fill her horns this year on Christian coast. How Pole's right king means without leaues of host to warm with ill-made fire cold muskoy. If French can yet 3 parts in one agree, what now the Dutch in their full diets boast. How Holland hearts, now so good towns be lost, trust in the shade of pleasant orange tree. How Elster likes of that same golden bit wherewith my father once made it half tame. If in the Scotch court be no weltering yet, these questions busy wits to me do frame. I, comebred with good manners, answer do, but know not how, for still I think of you. Sonnet 31. With how sad steps, O moon, thou climb the skies. How silently, and with how wan a face. What, may it be that Ewan in Hayounly place that buzzy archer his sharp arrows tries? Sure, if that long with loue acquainted eyes can iudge of loue, thou feelst a loue's case, I read it in thy looks. Thy languist grace, to me that feel the like, thy state descries. Then, Ewan of fellowship, O moon, tell me, is constant loue deemed there but one of wit? Are beauties there as proud as here they be? Do they abue loue to be lewd, and yet those loues scorn whom that loue doth possess? Do they call virtue there vn gratefulness? Sonnet 32. Morpheus, the loue zana of deadly sleep, witness of life to them that louing die, a prophet oft, and often history, a poet eke, as humours fly or creep, since thou in me so sure a power dost keep, that noyer I with closed vp sense do lie. But by thy work my Stella I descry, teaching blind eyes both how to smile and weep. Vouchsafe, of all acquaintance, this to tell: whence hast thou ivory, rubies, pearl, and gold, to show her skin, lips, teeth, and head so well? Fool, answers he, no Indies such treasures hold, but from thy heart, while my sire charmeth thee, sweet Stella's image I do steal to me. Sonnet 33. I might, vn happy word, O me, I might, and then I would not, or could not, see my bliss, till now wrapped in a most infernal night, I find how only day, wretch, I did miss. Heart, rend thyself, thou dost thyself but right. Number. Loue Paris made thy Helen his. No force, no fraud robbed thee of thy delight, nor fortune of thy fortune authoress, but to myself did jue the blow, while too much wit, forsooth, so troubled me that I respects for both our sakes must show, and yet could not, by rissing morn foresee how fair a day was near. O punished eyes, that I had been more foolish, or more wise. Sonnet 34. Come, let me write. And to what end? To ease a burthened heart. How can words ease, which are the glasses of thy daily vexing care? Oft cruel fights well pictured forth do please. Art not ashamed to publish thy disease? Nay, that may breed my fame, it is so rare. But will not wise men think thy words fond wear? Then be they close, and so none shall displease. What idler thing then speak and not be hard? What harder thing then smart and not to speak? Peace, foolish wit, with wit my wit is marred. Thus write I, while I doubt to write, and wreak my harms in ink's poor lossy. Perhaps some find Stella's great powers, that so confuse my mind. Sonnet 35. What may words say? Or what may words not say, where truth itself must speak like flattery? Within what bounds can one his liking stay, where nature doth with infinite agree? What Nestor's counsel can my flames allay, since reason's self doth blow the coal in me? And, what hope that hope should once see day, where Cupid is sworn page to chastity? Honor is honored that thou dost possess him as thy slough, and now long needy fame doth ewen grow rich, meaning my Stella's name. Wit learns in thee perfection to express, not thou by praise, but praise in thee is resta. It is a praise to praise, when thou art praista. Sonnet 36. Stella, whence doth these new assaults arise? A conquered yielding ransacked heart to win, whereto long since, through my long battered eyes, whole armies of thy beauties entered in. And there, long since, loue, thy lieutenant, lies. My forces Rajda, thy banners Riesti within. Of conquest, do not these effects suffice? But wilt new were vpon thine own begin? With so sweet voice, and by sweet nature so in sweetest stratagems sweet art can show, that not my soul, which at thy foot did fall long since, forked by thy beams, but stone nor tree, by sense's privilege, can scape from thee. Sonnet 37. My mouth doth water, and my breast doth swell, my tongue doth itch, my thoughts in labor be. Listen then, lordings, with good ear to me, for of my life I must a riddle tell. Toward Aurora's court a nymph doth dwell, rich in all beauties which man's eye can see. Beauties so far from reach of words that we abase her praise, saying she doth excel. Rich in the treasure of desirud renown, rich in the riches of a royal heart, rich in those gifts which jue eternal crown. Who, though most rich in these and repart which make the patents of true worldly bliss, hath no misfortune but that rich she is. Sonnet 38. This night, while sleep begins with hoey wings to hatch mine eyes, and that bidded thought doth fall to stray, and my chief powers are brought to leaues the sceptre of all subct things. The first that straight my fancy's error brings into my mind is Stella's image, wrought by Lou's own self, but with so curious draught that she, methinks, not only shines but sings. I start, look, harka. But in what closed a vp sense was held, in open sense it flies away, louing me not but wailing eloquence. I, seeing better sights in Sight's decay, called it anew, and wooed sleep again. But him, her host, that kind guest had slain. Sonnet 39. Come, sleep, O sleep, the certain knot of peace, the baiting place of wit, the balme of woe, the poor man's wealth, the prisoner's release, indifferent iudge between the high and low. With shield of proof shield me from out the prease of those fierce darts despair at me doth throw. O make in me those cruel wars to cease. I will good tribute pay, if thou do so. Take thou of me smooth pillows, sweetest bed, a chamber deaf of noise and blind of light, a rosy garland and a weary head. And if these things, as being thine in right, mue not thy holy grace, thou shalt in me loulier than elsewhere, Stella's image see. Sonnet XL is good to write, as for to lie and groan. O Stella dear, how much thy powery hath wrought, that hast my mind, now of the basest, brought my still kept course, while others sleep, to moan. Alas, if from the height of virtue's throne thou canst vouchsafe the influence of a thought vpon a wretch that long thy grace hath sought, way then how I by thee am o'erthrown, and then think thus. Although thy beauty be made manifest by such a victory, yet noble conquerors do rex avoid. Since then thou hast so far subdued me that in my heart I offer still to thee. O do not let thy temple be destroyed. Sonnet XLI howing this day my horse, my hand, my lance guided so well that I obtained the prize, both by the judgment of the English eyes and of some sent from that sweet enemy France. Horseman my skill in horsemanship adduance, town folks my strength. A daintier iudge applies his praise to slight which from good vse doth rise. Some lucky wits impute it but to chance. Others, because of both sides I do take my blood from them who did excel in this. Think nature me a man at arms did make. How far they shot Ori. The true cause is, Stella looked on, and from her heavenly face sent forth the beams which made so fair my race. Sonnet XLIIOIs, which do the spheres of beauty mue, whose beams be yoys, whose yoys all virtues be, who, while they make loue conquer loue. The schools where Venus hath learned de chastity. O eyes, where humble looks most glorious prue, only lewd tyrants, iust in cruelty, do not, O do not, from poor me remou. Keep still my zenith, you or shine on me, for though I noyer see them, but straightways my life forgets to nourish languished sprites, yet still on me, O eyes, dart down your rays. And if from majesty of sacred lights oppressing mortal sense my death proceed, Rachek's triumphs be which loue hie set doth breed. Sonnet XLIII fair eyes, sweet lips, dear heart, that foolish I could hope, by Cupid's help, on you to pray, since to himself he doth your gifts apply, as his main force, schwa's sport, and ease full stay. For when he will see who dare him gainsay, then with those eyes he looks, lo, by and by each soul doth at loue's feet his weapons lay, glad if for her he jue them leaues to die. When he will play, then in her lips he is, where, blushing red, that loue's self them do loue, with either lip he doth the other kiss. But when he will, for quiet's sake, remou from all the world, her heart is then his Rome, where well he knows no man to him can come. Sonnet XLIV my words I know do well set forth my mind. My mind bemoans his sense of inward smart, such smart may pittie claim of any heart. Her heart, sweet heart, is of no tigress kind, and yet she harras and yet no pittie I find, but more I cry, less grace she doth impart. Alas, what cause is there so o'erthwart that nobleness itself makes thus kind? I much do guess, yet find no truth sow this, that when the breath of my complaints doth touch those dainty doors viento the court of bliss, the heavenly nature of that place is such, that, once come there, the sobs of mine annoys are metamorphosed straight to tunes of yoys. Sonnet XLV Stella oft sees the very face of woe painted in my beclouded stormy face, but cannot skill to pity my disgrace, not though thereof the cause herself she know. Yet, hearing late a fable which did show of loeues noyer known, a grievous case, pittie thereof gate in her breast such place, that, from that sea deariud, tears spring did flow. Alas, if fancy, drawn by imaged things though false, yet with free scope, more grace doth breed than seruance rack, where new doubts honor brings. Then think, my dear, that you in me do read of loeues ruine some thrice sad tragedy. I am not I. Pittie the tale of me. Sonnet XLVII cursed thee oft. I pittie now thy case, blind hitting boy, since she that thee and me rules with a becca, so tyranny saith thee, that thou must want or food or dwelling place, for she protests to banish thee her face. Her face, O loue, a rogue, thou then shouldst be, if loue learn not alone to loue and see, without desire to feed of further grace. Alas, poor wag, that now a scholar art to such a schoolmistress, whose lessons new thou needs must miss, and so thou needs must smart. Yet, dear, let me his pardon get of you, so long, though he from book might to desire, till without fuel you can make hot fire. Sonnet XLVII what, how I thus betrayed my liberty? Can those black beams such burning marks engrow in my free side? Or am I born a slough, whose neck becomes such yoke of tyranny? Or wan I sense to feel my misery, or sprite, disdain of such disdain to how, who for long faith, though, daily help I crow, may get no all may, but scorn of beggary. Virtue, awake, beauta but beauta is, I may, I must, I can, I will, I do leaues following that which it is gain to miss. Let her go, soft, but here she comes. Gota, vnkind, I loue you not. O me, that I doth make my heart to jue my tongue the lie. Sonnet XLVII souls IOY, bend not those morning stars from me where virtue is made strong by beauty's might, where loue is chasteness, paine doth learn delight, and humbleness grows one with majesty. Whate'er may ensue, O let me be copartner of the riches of that sight. Let not mine eyes be held drean from that light. O look, O shine, O let me die, and see. For though I oft myself of them bem one that through my heart their beamy darts be gone, whose cureless wounds ewen now most freshly bleed, yet since my death wound is already got, dear killer, spare not thy sweet cruel shot. A kinde of grace it is to slay with speed. Sonnet XLIXI on my horse, and loue on me, doth tree our horsemanships, while by strange work I prue a horseman to my horse, a horse to loue, and now monts wrongs in me, poor beast. Descry the reins wherewith my rider doth me tie are humbled thoughts, which bit of royerance mue, curbed in with fear, but with guilt boss a buoy of hope, which makes it seem fair to the eye. The wand is will. Thou, fancy, saddle art, girt fast by memory, and while I spur my horse, he spurs with sharp desire my heart. He sits me fast, howe'er I do store, and now hath made me to his hand so right, that in the manage myself take delight. Sonnet L. Stella, the fullness of my thoughts of thee cannot be stayed within my panting breast, but they do swell and struggle forth of me, till that in words thy figure be expressed, and yet, as soon as they so formed be, according to my Lord Lou's own behest, with sad eyes I their weak proportions see to portrait that which in this world is best. So that I cannot choose but write my mind, and cannot choose but put out what I write, while these poor babes their death in birth do find. And now my pen these lines had dashed quite but that they stopped his fury from the same, because their forefront bear sweet Stella's name. Sonnet L. I pardon mine ears, both I and they do pray, so may your tongue still flauntingly proceed to them that do such entertainment need, so may you still have somewhat new to say. On silly me, do not the burthen lay of all the grow conceits your brain doth breed, but find some Hercules to bear, instead of Atlas tyrd, your wisdom's haounly sway. For me, while you discourse of courtly tides, of cunningest fishers in most troubled streams, of straying ways, when valiant error guides. Meanwhile my heart confers with Stella's beams, and is e'en woe that so sweet comedy by such vn suited speech should hindered be. Sonnet I a strife is grown between virtue and loue, while each pretends that Stella must be his. Her eyes, her lips, her all, saith loue, do this, since they do wear his badge, most firmly prue. But virtue thus that title doth disprue, that Stella, O dear name, that Stella is that virtuous soul, sure array of heavenly bliss. Not this fair outside, which our heart doth moue, and therefore, though her beauty and her grace be loue indeed, in Stella's self he may by no pretence claim any manner place. Well, loue, since this demur our suit doth stay, let virtue how that Stella's self. Yet thus, that virtue but that body grant to verses. Sonnet Liii in martial sports I had my cunning tried, and yet to break more sta did me address, while, with the people's shouts, I must confess, youth, luck, and praise Ewen filled my veins with pride. When Cupid, howing me, his slough, descried in Mars's livery prancing in the press, what now, sir fool? Said he, I would no less smiley face. Look here, I say. I looked, and Stella spied, who, hard by, made a window send forth light. My heart then quacked, then dazzled were mine eyes, one hand forgot to rule, t'other to fight, nor trumpets sound I heard, nor friendly cries. My foe came on, and beate the air for me, till that her blush taught me my shame to see. Sonnet live because I breathe not loue to Uri one, nor do not vse set colours for to wear, nor nourish special locks of vowed hair, nor jue each speech a full point of a groan. The courtly nymphes, acquainted with the moan of them which in their lips lose standard beare. What, he? Say they of me, now I dare swear he cannot loue. No, no, let him alone. And think so still, so Stella know my mind. Profess indeed I do not Cupid's art. But you, fair maids, at length this true shall find, that his right badge is but worn in the heart. Dumb swans, not chattering peas, do loues prue. They loue indeed who quake to say they loue. Sonnet. LV Muses, I oft inooked your holy ady, with choicest flowers my speech tea engarland so, that it, despised in true but naked show might win some grace in your sweet grace arrayed. And oft whole troops of saddest words I stayed, straying abroad a foraging to go, until by your inspiring I might know how their black banner might be best displayed. But now I mean no more your help to try, nor other suggring of my speech to prue, but on her name incessantly to cry. For let me but name her whom I do loue, so sweet sounds straight mine ear and heart do hit, that I well find no eloquence like it. Sonnet Lvify. School of Patience, Fy. Your lesson is far, far too long to learn it without book. What, a whole week without one piece of looke, and think I should not your large precepts miss, when I might read those letters fair of bliss which in her face teach virtue. I could brook somewhat thy leaden counsels, which I took as of a friend that meant not much amiss. But now that I, alas, do won her sight, what, dost thou think that I can ewer take in thy cold stuff a phlegmatic delight? No, patience. If thou wilt my good, then make her come and harrow with patience my desire, and then with patience bid me bear my fire. Sonnet Lvii who howing made, with many fights, his own each sense of mine, each gift, each power of mind. Grown now his slaws, he forced them out to find the thorowest words fit for woe's self to groan, hoping that when they might find Stella alone, before she could prepare to be vn kind, her soul, armed but with such a dainty rind, should soon be pierced with sharpness of the moan. She heard my plaints, and did not only harrow, but them, so sweet is she, most sweetly sing, with that fair breast making woe's darkness clear. A pretty case, I hoped her to bring to feel my grief, and she, with face and voice, so sweets my pains that my pains me rejoice. Sonnet Lvii I doubt there hath been when with his golden chain the orator so far men's hearts doth bind, that no pace else their guided steps can find but as he them more short or slack doth rein, whether with words this sovereignty he gain, clothed with fine tropes, with strongest reasons lind, or else pronouncing grace, wherewith his mind prints his own lowly form in rudest brain. Now iudge by this, in piercing phrases late th anatomy of all my woes I rate, Stella's sweet breath. The same to me did read. O voice, O face, maugre my speeches might, which wooed woe, most rawishing delight ewen those sad words ewen in sad me did breed. Sonnet licks deare, why make you more of a dog than me? If he do loue, I burn in loue. If he wait well, I noyer thence would mue. If he be fair, yet but a dog can be. Little he is, so little worth is he. He barks, my songs thine own voice oft doth prue. Bidden, perhaps he fetched thee a glue, but I, vnbid, fetch ewen my soul to thee. Yet, while I languish, him that besown clips, that lap doth lap, nay lets, in spite of spite, this sour breathed mate taste of those sugared lips. Alas, if you grant only such delight to witless things, then loue, I hope, since wit becomes a clog, will soon ease me of it. Sonnet LX when my good angel guides me to the place where all my good I do in Stella see, that heauwen of yours throws only down on me thundering disdains and lightnings of disgrace. But when the ruggedest step of fortune's race makes me fall from her sight, then sweetly she, with words wherein the Muse's treasures be, shews loue and pittie to my absent case. Now I, wit beaten long by hardest fate, so dull am, that I cannot look into the ground of this fierce loue and lowly hate. Then, some good body, tell me how I do, whose presence absence presence is, blessed in my curse, and cursed in my bliss. Sonnet LXI oft with true sighs, oft with vn called tears, now with slow words, now with dumb eloquence, I Stella's eyes assayed, innuade her earies. But this, at last, is her sweet breathed defense, that who indeed in felt affection bears, so captia to his saint both soul and sense, that, wholly hers, all selfiness he forbears, then his desires he learns, his leaues course thence. Now, since her chaste mind hates this loue in me, with chastened mind I straight must show that she shall quickly me from what she hates remou. O Dr. Cupid, thou for me reply. Drean else to grant, by angels' sophistry, that I loue not. Without I leau to loue. Sonnet LXII late tired with woe, ewen ready for to pine with rage of loue, I called my loue vn kind. She in whose eyes loue, though vn felt, doth shine, sweet said, that I true loue in her should find. Ioyed, but straight thus watered was my wine. That loue she did, but loue to loue not blind, which would not let me, whom she loued, decline from nobler course, fit for my birth and mind, and therefore, by her loue's authority, wiled me these tempests of vain loue to flee, and anchor fast myself on virtue's shore. Alas, if this the only metal be of loue new coined to help my beggary, dear, loue me not, that you may loue me more. Sonnet LXIIIO. Grammar rules, oh now your virtues show. So children still read you with a full eyes, as my young due may, in your precepts wise. Her grant to me by her own virtue know. For late, with heart most hie, with eyes most low, I crowd the thing which you or she denies. She, lightning loue, displaying Venus skies, least once should not be heard, 'twas said. No, no, sing then, my Muse, now Iopesian sing. Heauns enui not at my high triumphing, but grammar's force with sweet success confirme. For grammar says, oh this, dear Stella, say. For grammar says, to grammar who says nay, that in one speech two negations affirme. Sonnet LXIV no more, my dear, no more these counsels tree, O Jue. my passions leaues to run their race. Let fortune lay on me her worst disgrace. Let folk overcharged with brain against me cree. Let clouds bedimmy my face, break in mine eye. Let me no steps but of lost labour trace. Let all the earth with scorn recount my case, but do not will me from my loue to flee. I do not ennuy Aristoteles' wit, nor do aspire to see Caesar's bleeding fame, nor aught do care though some abue me sit, nor hope, nor wish another course to frame but that which once may win thy cruel heart. Thou art my wit, and thou my virtue art. Sonnet LXV loue. By sure proof I may call thee vn kind, that juist no better ear to my iust cries. Thou whom to me such good turnes should bind, as I may well recount, but none can prize. For when, nacked boy, thou couldst no harbour find in this old world, grown now so too wise, I lodged thee in my heart, and being blind by nature born, I gow to thee mine eyes, my light, my heart, my life. Alas, if so great Ceruses may scorned be, yet let this thought thy tigerish courage passe, that I perhaps am somewhat kin to thee, since in thine arms, if learned fame truth hath spread, thou bear'st the arrow, I the arrowhead. Sonnet LXVI. And do I see some cause a hope to feed, or doth the tedious burden of long woe in weakened minds quick apprehending breed of euery image which may comfort? Show? I cannot brag of word, much less of deed. Fortune wheeleth still with me in one sort slow. My wealth no more, and no wit less my need. Deare still on stilts of fear doth go. And yet amid all fears a hope there is, stolen to my heart since last fair night, nay day. Stella's eyes sent to me the beams of bliss, looking on me while I looked other way. But when mine eyes back to their heiau and did mue, they fled with blush which guilty seemed of loue. Sonnet LXVI. I hope, art thou true, or doest thou flatter me? Doth Stella now begin with piteous eye the ruins of her conquest to espy? Will she take time before all racked be? Her eye's speech is translated thus by thee, but failst thou not in phrases so heavenly high? Look on again, the fair text better pre. What blushing notes dost thou in margent see? What sighs stol'n out, or killed before full born? Hast thou found such and such like arguments, or art thou else to comfort me forsworn? Well, howso thou interpret the contents, I am resolute thy error to maintain, rather than by more truth to get more pain. Sonnet LXVII. Stella, the only planet of my light of my life, and life of my desire, chief good where to my hope doth only aspire, world of my wealth, and heiauan of my delight. Why dost thou spend the treasures of thy sprite with voice more fit to wed amphons? Liar, seeking to quench in me the noble fire fed by thy worth, and kindled by thy sight? And all in vain. For while thy breath most sweet with choicest words, thy words with reasons rare, thy reasons firmly set on virtue's feet, labor to kill in me this killing care. O think I then, what paradise of Ioi it is, so fair a virtue to enjoy. Sonnet LXIXOIOY to high for my low style to show. O bliss fit for a nobler seat than me. Inui, put out thine eyes, lest thou do see what oceans of delight in me do flow. My friend, that oft saw through all masks my woe, come, and let me powery myself on thee. Gone is the winter of my misery. My spring appears. O see what here doth grow. For Stella hath, with words where faith doth shine, of her high heart jouen me the monarchy. I may say that she is mine. And though she jue but thus conditionally, this reel me of bliss while virtuous course I take, no kings be crowned but they some countenance make. Sonnet LXX. My muse may well grudge at my heavenly IOY. Yf still I force her in sad rhymes to creep. She oft hath drunk my tears, now hopes to enjoy nectar of mirth, since I Ua's cup do keep. Sonnets be not bound prentice to annoy. Trebles sing high, so well as basses deep. Grief but louse winter lewery is. The boy hath cheeks to smile, so well as eyes to weep. Come then, my Muse, show thou height of delight in well-raced notes. My pen, the best it may, shall paint out Ioi, though in but black and white. Cease, eager Muse. Peace, pen, for my sake stay. I jure you hear my hand for truth of this. Wise silence is best music viento bliss. Sonnet LXXI. Who will in fairest book of nature know how virtue may best lodged in beauty be, let him but learn of loue to read in thee, Stella, those fair lines which true goodness show. There shall he find all vices o'erthrow, not by rude force, but sweetest sovereignty of reason, from whose light those night birds flee, that inward sun in thine eyes shineth so. And, not content to be perfection's heire thyself, doest strive all minds that way to mue, who mark in thee what is in thee most fair. So while thy beauty draws the heart to loue, as fast thy virtue bends that loue to good. But, desire still cries, jue me some food. Sonnet LXXII. Desire, though thou my old companion art, and oft so clings to my pure loue that I one from the other scarcely can descry, while each doth blow the fear of my heart. Now from thy fellowship I needs must part. Venus is taught with Dian's wings to flee. I must no more in thy sweet passions lie. Virtue's gold must now head my Cupid's dart. Ceruse and honor, wonder with delight, fear to offend, will wear thee to appear, care shining in mine eyes, faith in my sprite. These things are left me by my only dear, but thou, desire, because thou wouldst how all, now banished art. But yet, alas, how shall? Sonnet LXXII. Loue, still a boy, and oft a wanton is, schooled only by his mother's tender eye. What wonder then if he his lesson miss, when for so soft a rod dear play he try? And yet my star, because a sugared kiss in sport I sucked while she asleep did lie, doth lair, nay chide, nay threat for only this. Sweet, it was saucy loue, not humble I, but no scuse ceruse. She makes her wrath appear in beauty's throne. See now, who dares come near those scarlet eyeuges, threading blowdy paine. O hey only fool, thy most kiss worthy face anger I knewest with such a lowly grace, that anger's self I needs must kiss again. Sonnet LXXIV. Noyer drank of Agonipi well, nor ewer did in shade of Tempe sit, and Muses scorn with vulgar brains to dwell. Poor layman I, for sacred rites vnfit. Some doe I hear of poets' fury tell, but, God wot not what they mean by it. And this I swear by blackest brook of hell, I am no pick purse of another's wit. How falleth it then, that with so smooth an ease my thoughts I speak, and what I speak doth flow in verse, and that my verse best wits doth please? Guess we the cause? What, is it this? Fie, no, or so, much less. How then? Sure thus it is, my lips are sweet, inspurred with Stella's kiss. Sonnet LXXV. Of all the kings that ewer here did reign, Edward, named forth, as first in praise I name. Not for his fair outside, nor well-linned brain, although less gifts imp feathers oft on fame. Nor that he could, young wise valiant, frame his sire's ruinage, Ioined with a kingdom's gain, and gained by Mars, could yet mad Mars so tame, that balance weight, what sword did late obtaine. Nor that he made the floor de louse so, frayed, though strongly hedged, of blowdy lion's paws, that witty Lewis to him a tribute paid. Nor this, nor that, nor any such small cause, but only for this worthy king durst prue to lose his crown, rather than fail his loue. Sonnet LXXVI. She comes, and straight therewith her shining twins do mue their rays to me, who in their tedious absence lay benighted in cold woe. But now appears my day, the only light of Ioi, the only warmth of loue. She comes with light and warmth, which, like aurora, prue of gentle force, so that mine eyes dare gladly play with. Such a rosy morn, whose beams, most freshly gay, scorch not, but only do dark chilling sprites remow. But lo, while I do speak, it groweth no one with me. Her flamy glistering lights increase with time and place. My heart cries, oh! It burns, mine eyes now dazzled be. No wind, no shade can cool. What help then in my case? But with short breath, long looks, stayed feet, and aching head, pray that my sun go down with meeker beams to bed. Sonnet LXXVII those looks, whose beams be IOY, whose motion is delight. That face, whose lecture shows what perfect beauty is. That presence, which doth dewe dark hearts a looing light. That grace, which Venus weeps that she herself doth miss. That hand, which without touch holds more than Atlas might. Those lips, which make deaths pay a mean price for a kiss. That skin, whose passé praise hue scorns this poor term of white. Those words, which do sublime the quintessence of bliss. That voice, which makes the soul plant himself in the ears. That conversation sweet, where such high comforts be, as consterd in true speech, the name of Heon it bears. Makes me in my best thoughts and quietst iudg ments see that in no more but these I might be fully blessed. Yet, ah! My maiden muse doth blush to tell the best. Sonnet LXXVIII how the pleasant airs of true loue be infected by those vapors which arise from out that noisome gulf, which gaping lies between the eaws of hellish ileaues. A monster, others' harm, self-misery, beauty's plague, virtue's scourge, succor of lies. Who his own IOY to his own hurt applies, and only cherisheth with injury. Who since he hath, by nature's special grace, so piercing paws is spoil when they embrace. So nimble feet is stir still, though on thorns. So many eyes, I seeking their own woe. So ample Aries as noyer good news know. Is it not Yule that such a duel wants horns? Sonnet LXXIX sweet kiss. Thy sweets I fain would sweetly indite, which, Ewan of sweetness sweetest sweetener art. Pleasingst consort, where each sense holds a part. Which, coupling duets, guides Venus. Chariot right, best charge, and browest retreat in Cupid's fight. A double key, which opens to the heart, most rich when most riches it impart. Nest of young joys, schoolmaster of delight, teaching the mean at once to take and joue. The friendly fray, where blows both wound and heal, the pretty death, while each another leaues. Poor hope's first wealth, hostage of promised weal, breakfast of loue. But lo, where she is, cease we to praise. Now pray we for a kiss. Sonnet LXXX sweet swelling lip, well mayst thou swell in pride, since best wits think it wit thee to admire. Nature's praise, virtue's stall. Cupid's cold fire, whence words, not words but heavenly graces slide. The new Parnassus, where the Muses bide. Sweetener of music, wisdom's beautifier, breather of life, and fastener of desire, where beauty's blush in honor's grain is dyed. Thus much my heart compelled my mouth to say. But now, spite of my heart, my mouth will stay, loathing all lies, doubting this flattery is, and no spur can his resty race renew. Without, how far this praise is short of you, sweet lip, you teach my mouth with one sweet kiss. Sonnet LXXXIO kiss, which dost those ruddy gems impart, or gems or fruits of new-found paradise, breathing all bliss, and sweeting to the heart, teaching dumb lips a nobler exercise. O kiss, which souls, Ewan souls, together ties by links of loue and only nature's art, how fain would I paint thee to all men's eyes. Or of thy gifts at least shade out some part, but she forbids. With blushing words she says she builds her fame on higher seated praise. But my heart burns, I cannot silent be. Then, since, dear life, you fain would how me peace, and I, mad with delight, want wit to cease, stop you my mouth with still kissing me. Sonnet LXXXII nymph of the garden where all beauties be, beauties which do in excellency passe his who till death looked in a watery glass, are hers whom nacked the Trojan boy did see. Sweet garden nymph, which keeps the cherry tree whose fruit doth far the Hesperian task surpass. Most fair sweet, do not, alas, from coming near those cherries banish me. For though, full of desire, empty of wit, admitted late by your best graced grace, I caught at one of them, and hungry bit. Pardon that fault. Once more grant me the place, and I do swear, ewen by the same delight, I will but kiss. I noyer more will bite. Sonnet LXXXIII. Good brother Philip, I how borne you long. I was content you should in far creep, while craftily you seemed your cut to keep, as though that fair soft hand did you great wrong. I bear with Inui, yet I bear your song, when in her neck you did loue ditties peep. Nay, more fool I, oft suffered you to sleep in lilies neast where lou's self lies along. What, doth high place ambitious thoughts augment? Is Sochiness reward of courtesy? Cannot such grace your silly self-content, but you must needs with those lips billing be, and through those lips drink nectar from that tongue? Leaues that, seer fip, least off your neck be wrong. Sonnet LXXXIV. Highway, since you my chief Parnassus be, and that my Muse, to some Aries not vn sweet, tempers her words to trampling horses' feet more oft than to a chamber melody. Now, blessed you bear onward blessed me to her, where I my heart, safe left, shall meet. My Muse and I must you of duty greet with thanks and wishes, wishing thankfully, be you still fair, honored by public heedy, by no encroachment wronged, nor time forgot, nor blamed for blowed, nor shammed for sinful deed, and that you know Ienui you no lot of highest wish. I wish you so much bliss, hundreds of years you Stella's feet may kiss. Sonnet LXXXV. I see the house, my heart thyself contain. Closing parenthesis. Beware full sailors drown not thy tottering barge, least Ioi, by nature apt sprites to enlarge, thee to thy rack beyond thy limits strain, nor do like lords whose weak confused brain not, pointing to fit folks each undercharge, while uery office themselves will discharge, with doing all, leaues nothing done but paine. But jue apt seruance, their due place. Let eyes see beauty's total sum summed in her face. Let Aries hair a speech which wit to wonder ties. Let breath suck those sweets. Let arms embrace the globe of weal, lips lose indentures make. Thou but of all the kingly tribute take. Sonnet LXXXVI. Alas, whence came this change of looks? If I how changed desert, let mine own conscience be a still felt plague to self-condemning me. Let woe gripe on my heart, shame load mine eye. But if all faith, like spotless ermine, lie safe in my soul, which only doth to thee, as his sole object of felicity, with wings of loue in air of wonder flee, O ease your hand, treat not so hard your slough, in Eustace pains. Come not till faults do call. Or if I needs, sweet Iudge, must torments how, vse something else to chasten me withal than those blessed eyes, where all my hopes do dwell. No doom should make one's Heauen become his hell. Sonnet LXXXVII. When I was forced from Stella your dear. Stella, food of my thoughts, heart of my heart. Stella, whose eyes make all my tempests clear, by Stella's laws of duty to depart. Alas, I found that she with me did smart. I saw that tears did in her eyes appear. I saw way that sighs her sweetest lips did part, and her sad words my sadded sense did hara. For me, I wept to see pearls scattered so. I sight her sighs, and wailed for her woe, yet swam in Ioi. Such loue in her was seen. Thus, while effect most bitter was to me, and nothing then the cause more sweet could be, I had been vexed, if vexed I had not been. Sonnet LXXXVIII. Out, traitor absence, darst thou counsel me from my dear captainess to run away, because in brow array here marcheth she, that, to win me, oft choose a present pay? Is faith so weak, or is such force in thee? When sun is hid, can stars such beams display? Cannot Heaun's food, once felt, keep stow makes free from base desire on earthly cates to prey? Tush, absence. While thy me stays eclipse that light, my orphan sense flies to the inward sight, where memory sets forth the beams of loue, that where before heart lewed and eyes did see, in heart both sight and loue now coupled be. United powers make each the stronger prue. Sonnet LXXXIX. Now that of absence the most irksome night with darkest shade doth o'ercome my day. Since Stella's eyes, want to jewé me my day, louing my hemisphere, leau me in night. Each day seems long, and longs for long stayed night. The night is tedious, would approach of day. Tired with the dusty twals of busy day, languished with horrors of the silent night, suffering the ewels both of day and night, while no night is more dark than is my day, nor no day hath less quiet than my night, with such bad mixture of my night and day, that louing thus in blackest winter night, I feel the flames of hottest summer day. Sonnet XC Stella. Think not that I by verse seek fame, who seek, who hope, who loue, who leaues but thee. Thine eyes my pride, thy lips mine history. If thou praise not, all other praise is shame. Nor so ambitious am I, as to frame a nest for my young praise in laurel tree. In truth, I swear I wish not there should be growed in my epitaph a poet's name. Nay, if I would, could I iust title make, that any laud thereof to me should grow, without my plumes from others' wings I take. For nothing from my wit or will doth flow, since all my words thy beauty doth indite, and loue doth hold my hand, and makes me write. Sonnet XCI Stella. While now, by honor's cruel might, I am from you, light of my life, myselfe, and whiles, fair you, my son, thus o'erspread with absence veil, I leaues in sorrow's night. If this dark place yet shew we like candle light, some beauty's piece, as amber-colored head, milk hands, rose cheeks, or lips more sweet, more red, or seeing jets black but in blackness bright, they please, I do confess they please mine eyes. But why? Because of you they models be. Models, such be wood globes of glistering skies. Dear therefore be not eyeless hour me, if you hera that they see me my heart to moue. Not them, oh no, but you in them I loue. Sonnet XCII. Be your words made, good sir, of Indian ware, that you allow me them by so small rate? Or do you courted Spartanes imitate? Or do you mean my tender Aries to spare, that to my questions you so total are? When I demand of Phoenix Stella's state, you say, forsooth, you left her well of late. O God, think you that satisfies my care? I would know whether she did sit or walk, how clothed, how waited on, sight she, or smiled whereof, with whom, how often did she talkie, with what pastimes times eorny she beguiled, if her lips deigned to sweeten my poor name. Say all, and all well said, still say the same. Sonnet XCIII. O fate, O fault, O curse, child of my bliss. What sobs can jewé words grace my grief? To show? What inky is black inna to paint my woe? Through me, wretch me, Inuention Stella vexed is. Yet, trueth, if cative's breath may call thee, this witness with me, that my foul stumbling so, from carelessness did in no manner grow, but wit, confused with too much care, did miss. And do I, then, myself this vain scuse jewé? I how, leaues I, and know this, harmed thee, though, worlds, quite me, shall I myself forjewé? Only with pains my pains thus eased be, that all thy hurts in my heart's rack I reade. I cry thy sighs, my dear, thy tears I bleed. Sonnet XCIV. Grief, find the words, for thou hast made my brain so dark with misty vapors, which arise from out thy hoey mold, that infant eyes can scarce discern the shape of mine own pain. Do thou, then, for thou canst, do thou complain for my poor soul, which now that sickness tries, which to sense of itself denies, though harbingers of death lodge there his train. Or if thy loue of plaint yet mine forbears, as of a caitife worthy so to die. Yet wyle thyself, and wyle with causeful tears, that though in wretchedness thy life doth lie, yet growest more wretched than by nature bears by being placked in such a wretch as I. Sonnet XCV yet sighs, dear sighs, indeed true friends you are, that do not leau your best friend at the worst, but, as you with my breast I oft how nursed, so, grateful now, you wait vpon my care. Faint coward yoy no longer tarry dare, seeing hope yield when this woe strake him first. Delight exclaims he is for my fault cursed, though oft himself my mate in arms he swear. Nay, sorrow comes with such main rage, that he kills his own children, tears, finding that they by loue were made apt to consort with me. Only, true sighs, you do not go away. Thank may you how for such a thankful part, thank worthiest yet when you shall break my heart. Sonnet XCV I thought, with good cause thou lick'st so well the night, since kind or chance Jews both one lewery, both sadly black, both blackly darkned be. Night barred from sun. Thou from thy own sunlight. Silence in both displays his sullen might. Slow haowness in both holds one degree that full of doubts, thou of perplexity. Thy tears express night's natiu moisture right. In both amazeful solitariness. In night, of sprites, the ghastly powers do stir. In thee are sprites or sprited ghastliness. But, alas, night's side the odds hath for that, at length, yet doth annuitate some rest. Thou, though still tired, yet still dost it detest. Sonnet XCVII Dian, that fain would cheer her friend the night, shews her oft, at the full, her fairest face, bringing with her those starry nymphs, whose chase from haownly standing hits each mortal white. But ah, poor night, in loue with Phoebus light, and endlessly despairing of his grace, herself, to Shee no other ioi hath place. Silent and sad, in mourning weeds doth dight. And so, alas, a lady, Dian's peer, with schwa's delights and rarest company would fain drea clouds from out my hoey cheer. But, woe is me, though yoy herself were she could not show my blind brain ways of ioi, while I despair my sun's sight to enjoy. Sonnet XCVIII ah, bed, the field where yoy's peace some do see, the field where all my thoughts to worry be trained. How is thy grace by my strange fortune strained? How thy lee shores by my sighs stormed be, with sweet soft shades thou oft inuitest me to steal some rest. But, wretch, I am constrained, spurred with loue's spur, though galled, and shortly reined with care's hard hand to turn and toss in thee, while the black horrors of the silent night paint woe's black face so lewely to my sight that tedious leisure marks each wrinkled line. But when aurora leads out Phoebus daunts, mine eyes then only winke. For spite, perchance, that worms should how their sun, and I want mine. Sonnet XCIX when far spent night persuades each mortal eye, to w home nor art nor nature granteth light, to lay his then mark wanting shafts of sight, closed with their keers, in sleep's armory. With windows ope, then most my mind doth lie, viewing the shape of darkness, and delight takes in that sad hue, which, with inward night of his majda powers, keeps perfect harmony. But when birds charm, and that sweet air which is morn's messenger, with rose enamelled skies calls each white to salute the floor of bliss. In tombe of lids then buried are mine eyes, forced by their lord, who is asham to find such light in sense, with such a darkned mind. Sonnet Co tears, no tears, but rain, from beauty's skies, making those lilies and those roses grow, which I most fair, now more than most fair show, while graceful pittie beautifies, O honeyed sighs, which from that breast do rise, whose pants do make vn spilling cream to flow, winged with whose breath, so pleasing zephyrs blow, as might refresh the hell where my soul fries. O plaints, concerued in such a sugared phrase, that eloquence itself annuies your praise. while sobit out words a perfect musique jouée. Such tears, sighs, plaints, no sorrow is, but ioi. Or if such heowenly sickness must prue annoy, all mirth. Farewell, let me in sorrow leaues. Sonnet I Stella is sick, and in that sick bed lies sweetness, which breathes and pants as oft as she, and grace, sick too, such fine conclusion tries, that sickeness brags itself best grack to be. Beauty is sick, but sick in so fair guise, that in that paliness beauty's white we see, and joy, which is inseparate from those eyes. Stella now learns, strange case, to weep in me. Loue moanus thy paine, and like a faithful page, as thy looks store, runs vpon down, to make all folks pressed at thy will thy pain to swage. Nature with care sweats for here darling sake, knowing worlds passé, ere she enough can find, of such heowen stuff to cloth so heownly mind. Sonnet II where be those roses gone, which sweetened so our eyes? Where those red cheeks, which oft, with fair increase, did frame the height of honor in the kindly badge of shame? Who hath the crimson weeds stolen from my morning skies? How doth the color vade of those vermilion dyes, which nature self did make, and self ingrain the same? I would know by what right this paliness hour came that hue whose force my heart still viento thraldom ties. Gallons adoptia zonas, who by a beaten way their eye udgments hackney on, the fault of sickness lay. But feeling proof makes me say they mistake it for. It is but loue which makes this paper perfect white, to write therein. More fresh the story of delight, whiles beauty's reddest inky Venus for him doth store. Sonnet III O happy Thames, that didst my Stella bear. I saw thee with full many a smiling line vpon thy cheerful face, joys leaurie where, while those fair planets on thy streams did shine. The boat for ioi could not to dance forbear, while wanton winds, with beauties so diuen ravished, stayed not, till in her golden hair they did themselves, O sweetest prison, twine. And fayne those calls youth there would their stay how made, but forced by nature still to flee, first did with puffing kiss those locks display. She, so disheld blushed, from window I with sight thereof cried out, O fair disgrace, let honor self to thee grant highest place. Sonnet civ Inuus wits, what hath been a mine offense, that with such poisonous care my looks you mark, that to each word, nay sigh of mine, you hark, as grudging me my sorrow's eloquence? Ah, is it not enough, that I am thence, so far thence, that scantly any spark of comfort dare come to this dungeon dark, where rigor's exile locks vpl my sense? But if I by a happy window passe, if I but stars vpepen mine armor bear, sick, thirsty, glad, though but of empty glass. Your moral notes straight my hid meaning tear from out my ribs, and, puffing, proves that I do Stella loue. Fools, who doth it deny? Sonnet cvv unhappy sight, and hath she vanished by so ne'er, in so good time, so free a place? Dead glass, dost thou thy object so embrace, as what my heart still sees thou canst not spee? I swear by her I loue and lack, that I was not in fault, who bent thy dazzling race only viento the heowen of Stella's face, counting but dust. What in the way did lie? But cease, mine eyes, your tears do witness well that you, guiltless thereof, your nectar missed. Cursed be the page from home the bad torch fell. Cursed be the night which did your strife resist. Cursed be the coachman that did drea so fast, with no less curse than absence makes me tasked. Sonnet cvio absent. Presence, Stella is not here. False flattering hope, that with so fair a face bear me in hand, that in this orphane place, Stella, I say my Stella, should appear. What sighst thou now? Where is that dainty cheer thou toldst mine eyes should help their famished case? But thou art gone, now that self-felt disgrace doth make me most to wish thy comfort near. But here I do store of fair ladies meet, who may with charm of conversation sweet, make in my hoey mould new thoughts to grow. Sure they pruile as much with me, as he that bade his friend, but then knew maimed to be merry with him, and so forget his woe. Sonnet I Stella, since thou so right a princess art of all the powers which life bestows on me, that ere by them ought undertaken be, they first resort viento that so arraign part. Sweet, for a while jue thy lieutenancy to this great cause, which needs both use and art. And as a queen, who from her presence sends whom she employs, dismiss from thee my wit, till it how wrought what thy own will attends. On Saruan's shame oft maisters blame doth sit. O let not fools in me thy works reprove, and scorning say, see what it is to loue. Sonnet Cvii when sorrow, viusing mine own fire's might, melts down his lead into my boiling breast through that dark furnace to my heart oppressed, there shines a ioi from thee my only light, but soon as thought of thee breeds my delight, and my young soul flutters to thee his nest, most rude despair, my daily vn bidden guest, clips straight my wings, straight wraps me in his night, and makes me then bow down my heed, and say, ah, what doth Phoebus gold that wretch Auile whom iron doors do keep from vse of day? So strangely, alas, thy works on me, pruile, that in my woes for thee thou art my ioi, and in my joys for thee my only annoy. The following two sonnets were added by Grosart as having been intended for the sonnet cycle, though they did not appear here in the early editions. Sonnet Cix thou blind mon's mark, thou fool's self-chosen snare, fond fancy scum, and dregs of scattered thought, band of all Yules, cradle of causeless care, thou web of will, whose end is noyer wrought, desire. Desire, I how too dearly bought, with prize of mangled mind, thy worthless ware. Too long, asleep thou hast me brought, who shouldst my mind to higher things prepare. But yet in vain thou hast my ruine sought, in vain thou maddest me to vain things aspire, in vain thou kindlest all thy smoky fire. For virtue hath this better lesson taught, within myself to seek my only higher, desiring naught but how to kill desire. Sonnet Cx leaues, me, a loue which reachest but to dust, and thou, my mind, aspire to higher things. Grow rich in that which noyer taketh rust. Whatever fades, but fading pleasure brings. Draw in thy beams, and humble all thy might to that sweet yoke where lasting freedoms be, which breaks the cloudes and opens forth the light, that doth both shine and jue us sight to see. O take fast hold. Let that light be thy guide in this small course which birth draws out to death, and think how you'll becometh him to slide, who seeketh heauen, and comes of heaunly breath. Then farewell world. Thy vitremost I see, eternal loue, maintain thy life in me. Spendidus longum valedico nugis. Song's first song. Doubt you to whom my muse these notes entendeth, which now my breast, surcharged, to music lendeth. To you, all song of praise is due, only in you my song begins and endeth. Who hath the eyes which Marie state with pleasure, who keeps the key of nature's chiefest treasure. To you, all song of praise is due, only for you the heauen forgate all measure. Who hath the lips, where wit in fairness reigneth, who womankind at once both decks and staineth. To you, all song of praise is due, only by you Cupid his crown maintaineth. Who hath the feet, whose step all sweetness planteth, who else, for whom fame worthy trumpets wanteth. To you, all song of praise is due, only to you her sceptre Venus granteth. Who hath the breast, whose milk doth patience nourish, whose grace is such, that when it chides doth cherish. To you, all song of praise is due, only through you the tree of life doth flourish. Who hath the hand which, without stroke, subdueth, who long dead beauty with increase reneweth. To you, all song of praise is due, only at you all a newy hopeless ruth. Who hath the hair, which loosest, fastest teeth. Who makes a man leaues, then glad when he dieth? To you, all song of praise is due, only of you the flatterer noyer leith. Who hath the voice, which soul from senses thunders? Whose force, but yours, the bolts of beauty thunders? To you, all song of praise is due, only with you not miracles or wonders. Doubt you, to w home my muse these notes intendeth, which now my breast, o'ercharged, to music lendeth. To you, all song of praise is due, only in you my song begins and endeth. Second song, how I caught my haonly Iowell, teaching sleep most fair to be. Now will I teach her that she, when she wakes, is too cruel. Since sweet sleep her eyes hath charmed, the two only darts of loue, now will I, with that boy, prue some play, while he is disarmed. Her tongue, waking, still refuseth, viewing frankly niggard no. Now will I attempt to know what know her tongue, sleeping, saith. See the hand that, waking, guardeth, sleeping, grants a free resort. Now I will inwade the fort, coward's loue with lossy rewardeth. But, O fool, think of the danger of her iust and high disdain. Now will I, alas, refrain. Loue fears nothing else but anger. Yet those lips, so sweetly swelling, do a stealing kiss. Now will I but venture this. Who will read, must first learn spelling. Oh, sweet kiss, but ah, she's waking. Lowering beauty chastens me. Now will I for fear hence flee. Fool, more fool for no more taking. Third song, if Orpheus' voice had force to breathe such music's loue through pores of Sensiles trees, as it could make them moue. If stones good measure donked, the Theban walls to build to cadence of the tunes which Amphion's lyre did yield. More cause a like effect at least wise bringeth. O stones, O trees, learn hearing, Stella singeth. If loue might sweeten so a boy of shepherd brood, to make a lizard dull, to taste loue's dainty food. If eagle fierce could so in Grecian maid delight, as her eyes were his light, her death his endless night, earth. Gow that loue, haowen, I trow, loue refineth. O birds, O beasts, look loue, lo, Stella shineth. The beasts, birds, stones, and trees feel this, and, feeling, loue. And if the trees nor stones stir not the same to prue, nor beasts nor birds do come viento this blessed gaze, know that small loue is quick, and great loue doth amaze. They are amazed, but you, with reason armed, O eyes, O ye Aries of men, how you are charmed. Fourth song, only yoy, now here you are, fit to Hera and ease my care. Let my whispering voice obtain sweet reward for sharpest pain. Take me to thee, and thee to me. No, 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 my dear, let be. Night hath closed all in her cloak, twinkling stars. Loue thoughts pruque, danger hence, good care doth keep. Ilusi himself doth sleep. Take me to thee, and thee to me. No, 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 my dear, let be. Better place no wit can find, Cupid's knot to loose or bind. These sweet flowers are fine bed too, these in their best language woo. Take me to thee, and thee to me. No, no, no. No, my dear, let be. This small light the moon bestows seruse thy beams but to disclose. So to raise my hap more hie, fear not else, none verses can spee. Take me to thee, and thee to me. No, 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 my dear, let be. That you heard was but a mouse, dumb sleep holdeth all the house. Yet asleep, methinks they say, young fools take time while you may. Take me to thee, and thee to me. No, 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 my dear, let be. Niggard time threads, if we miss this large offer of our bliss, long stay, ere he grant the same. Sweet, then, while each thing doth frame, take me to thee, and thee to me. No, 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 my dear, let be. Your fair mother is abed, candles out and curtains spread. She thinks you do letters right. Right, but first let me indite. Take me to thee, and thee to me. No, 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 my dear, let be. Sweet, alas, why strue you thus? Concord better fitteth verses. Leau to Mars the force of hands, your power in your beauty stands. Take me to thee, and thee to me. No, 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 my dear, let be. Woe to me, and do you swear me to hate, but I forbear? Cursed be my destines all, that brought me so high to fall. Soon with my death I will please thee. No, 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 my dear, let be. Fifth Song. While far fed my hope, delight with hope was brought, thought waited on delight. And speech did follow thought. Then grew my tongue and pen records viento thy glory. I thought all words were lost that were not spent of thee. I thought each place was dark but where thy lights would be, and all earies worse than deaf that heard not out thy story. I said thou wert most fair, and so indeed thou art. I said thou wert most sweet, sweet poison to my heart. I said my soul was thine. Oh that I then had lied. I said thine eyes were stars, thy breast the milken way, thy fingers Cupid's shafts, thy voice the angel's lay. And all I said so well, as no man it denied. But now that hope is lost, vn kindness kills delight. Yet thought and speech do leaues, though metamorphosed quite, for rage now rules. The reins which guided were by pleasure. I think now of thy faults, who late thought of thy praise, that speech fallest now to blame, which did thy honor raise, the same key open can, which can lock vp a treasure. Then thou, whom partial Inuentions conspired in one to frame the proof of beauty's worth, t'inheritrix of fame, the mansion seat of bliss, and iust excuse of loeues. See now those feathers plucked, wherewith thou flewst most high. See what clouds of reproach shall dark thy honor's ski, whose own fault cast him down hardly high state recowers. And, O my Muse, though oft you lulled her in your lap, and then a heavenly child, gow her ambrosen pap, and to that brain of hers your kindest gifts infused. Since she, disdaining me, doth you in me disdain, suffer not her to laugh, while both we suffer pain. Princes in subcts wrong must deem themselves abused. Your client, poor myself, shall Stella handle so. Revenge, my Muse, defiance trumpet blow. Threaten what may be done, yet do more than you threaten. Ah, my suit granted is, I feel my breast doth swell. No, child, a lesson new you shall begin to spell. Sweet babes must babies how, but shrewd girls must be beaten. Think now no more to Hera of warma fine odored snow, nor blushing lilies, nor pearls ruby hidden row, nor of that golden sea, whose waws in curls are broken, but of thy soul, so fraught with such vn gratefulness, as where thou soon mightst help, most faith dost most oppress. Vn grateful, who is called, the worst of Yules is spoken, yet worse than worst, I say thou art a thief, a fa. Now God forbid, a fa, and of worst thews the chief. Thews steal for need, and steal but goods which pain recowers, but thou, rich in all joys, dost rob my joys from me, which cannot be restored by time or industry. Of foes the spoil is Yule, far worse of constant loeues. Yet, gentle English thews do rob, but will not slay, thou English murdering the fa. Wilt how hearts for thy prey? The name of murder now on thy fair forehead sitteth, and ewen while I do speak, my death wounds bleeding be, which, I protest, proceed from only cruel thee, who may, and will not sow, murder in truth committeth. But murder, priuate fault, seemes but a toy to thee. I lay then to thy charge Veneus test tyranny, if rule by force, without all claim, a tyrant showeth. For thou dost lord my heart, who am not born thy slough, and, which is worse, makes me, most guiltless, torments how a rightful prince by vn right deeds a tyrant groweth. Lo, you grow proud with this, for tyrants make folkbow of foul rebellion. Then I do impeach thee now, rebel by nature's law, rebel by law of reason. Thou, sweetest subct wert, born in the realme of loue, and yet against thy prince thy force dost daily prove. No virtue merits praise, once touched with blot of treason, but valiant rebels oft in fools' mouths purchase fame. I now then stain thy white with vagabonding shame, both rebel to the zana and vagrant from the mother, for wearing Venus' badge in Uri part of thee, viento Diana train thou, runaway, didst flee. Who faileth one is false, though trusty to another. What, is not this enough? Nay, far worse cometh here. A witch, I say, thou art, though thou so fair appear. For, I protest, my sight noyer thy face enio yeth. But I in me am changed, I am a leaues and dead. My feet are turned to roots, my heart becometh lead. No witchcraft is so Yule as which man's mind destroyeth. Yet witches may repent. Thou art far worse than they. Alas that I am forced such Yule of thee to say. I say thou art a deule, though clothed in angel shining. For thy face tempts my soul to leau the Inuentions for thee, and thy words of refuse do powery you in hell on me. Who tempt, and tempting plague, or diules in true defining. You, then, vn grateful the fa, you murdering tyrant, you rebel runaway, to lord and lady vn true, you witch, you deule, alas, you still of me beloued. You see what I can say. Mend yet your froward mind, and such skill in my muse, you, reconciled, shall find, that all these cruel words your praises shall be prued. Sixth Song. O you that hear this voice, O you that see this face, say whether of the choice desirees the former place. Fear not to iudge this bait, for it is void of hate. This side doth beauty take, for that doth musique speak. Fit orators to make the strongest judgments weak. The bar to plead their right is only true delight. Thus doth the voice and face, these gentle lawyers, wage, like looing. Brother's case, for father's heritage, that each, while each contends, itself to other lends. For beauty beautifies with heavenly hue and grace the heavenly harmonies, and in this faultless face the perfect beauties be a perfect harmony. Music more loftily swells in speeches nobly placked. Beauty as far excels in action aptly gracked. A friend each party draws to countenance his cause. Loue more affected seemes to beauty's lowly light, and wonder more esteems of music's wondrous might. But both to both so bent, as both in both are spent. Music doth witness call the ear his truth to tree. Beauty brings to the hall judgment of the eye, both in their objects such, as no exceptions touch. The common sense, which might be arbiter of this, to be, forsooth, vpright, to both sides partial is. He lays on this chief praise on that he lays. Then reason, princess high, whose throne is in the mind, which music can in sky and hidden beauties find, say whether thou wilt crown with limitless renown? Seventh Song. Whose senses in so Yule consort their step dame nature lays, that rawishing delight in them most sweet tunes do not raise. Or if they do delight therein, yet are so closed with wit, as with ententious lips to set a title vain on it. O let them hear these sacred tunes, and learn in wonders schools, to be, in things past bounds of wit, fools. If they be not fools, who how so leaden eyes, as not to see sweet beauty's show, or, seeing, how so wooden wits, as not that worth to know, or, knowing, how so muddy minds, as not to be in loue, or, looing, how so frothy thoughts, as easily thence to mue. O let them see these heavenly beams, and in fair letters read a lesson fit, both sight and skill, loue and firme loue to breed. Hera then, but then with wonder Hera, see, but adoring, see, no mortal gifts, no earthly freutes, now here descended be. See, do you see this face? A face, nay, image of the skies, of which the two life-giving lights are figured in her eyes. Hear you this soul innuating voice, and count it but a voice? The very essence of their tunes, when angels do rejoice. 8 Song. In a grue most rich of shade, where birds wanton music made, May, then young, his pittie weeds showing, new perfumed with flowers fresh growing, Astrophel with Stella sweet did for mutual comfort meet, both within themselves oppressed, but each in the other blessed. Him great harms had taught much care, her fair neck a foul yoke bare. But her sight his cares did banish, in his sight her yoke did vanish. Wept they had, alas, the while, but now tears themselves did smile, while their eyes, by loue directed, interchangeably reflected. Sigh they did, but now betwixt sighs of woe were glad sighs mixed, with arms crossed, yet testifying restless rest, and looing dying. Their ears hungry of each word which the dear tongue would afford, but their tongues restrained from walking, till their hearts had ended talking. But when their tongues could not speak, loue itself did silence break. Loue did set his lips asunder, thus to speak in loue and wonder. Stella, sovereign of my Ioi, fair triumpher of annoy. Stella, star of heavenly fear. Stella, lodestar of desire. Stella, in whose shining eyes are the lights of Cupid's skies, whose beams, where they once are darted, loue therewith is straight imparted. Stella, whose voice when it speaks senses all asunder breaks. Stella, whose voice, when it singeth, angels to acquaintance bringeth. Stella, in whose body is writ each character of bliss. Whose face all beauty passeth, sow thy mind, which it surpasseth. Grant, O grant, but speech, alas, fails me, fearing on to passe. Grant, O me, what am I saying? But no fault there is in praying. Grant, O dear, on knees I pray, knees on ground he then did stay. That, not I, but since I loue you, time and place for me may mue you. Nor season was more fit, never room more apt for it. Smiling air allows my reason. These birds sing, now vse the season. This small wind, which so sweet is, see how it the leaues doth kiss. Each tree in his best attiring, sense of loue to loue inspiring. Loue makes earth the water drink, loue to earth makes water sink. And, if dumb things be so witty, shall a heavenly grace want pity? There his hands, in their speech, fain would how made tongue's language plain. But her hands, his hands repelling, gow repulse all grace expelling. Then she spake. Her speech was such, so not earies, but heart did touch, while such wise she loue denied, and yet loue she signified. Astrophel, said she, my loue, cease, in these effects, to prue. Now be still, yet still bellow me, thy grief more than death would grieve me. If that any thought in me can task comfort but of thee, let me, fed with hellish anguish, oils, hopeless, endless languish. If those eyes you praised be half so dear as you to me, let me home return, stark blinded of those eyes, and blinder minded. If to secret of my heart, I do any wish impart, where thou art not foremost placed, be both wish and I defaced. If more may be said, I say, all my bliss in thee I lay. If thou loue, my loue, content thee, for all loue, all faith is meant thee. Trust me, while I thee deny, in myself the smart I try. Tyrant honor doth thus vse thee, Stella's self might not refuse thee. Therefore, dear, this no more mue, least, though I leau not thy loue, which too deep in me is framed, I should blush when thou art named. Therewithal away she went, louing him to passion rent, with what she had done and spoken, that therewith my song is broken. 9th Song. Go, my flock, go, get you hence, seek a better place of feeding, where you may have some defense fro the storms in my breast breeding, and showers from mine eyes proceeding. Leau a wretch, in whom all woe can abide to keep no measure. Merry flock, such one forego, viento whom mirth is displeasure, only rich in mischief's treasure. Yet, alas, before you go, hear your wo full maester's story, which to stones I else would show. Sorrow only then hath glory when 'tis excellently sorry. Stella, fiercest shepherdess, fiercest, but yet fairest ewer. Stella, whom, O Inuentions still blesse, though against me she pursoyer, though I bliss enherit noyer. Stella hath refused me. Stella, who more loue hath prued, in this caitife heart to be, then can in good ease be mowed toward lambkin's best belued. Stella hath refused me. Astrophel, that so well served in this pleasant spring must see, while in pride flowers be preserved, himself only winter starewed. Why, alas, doth she then swear that she loueth me so dearly, seeing me so long to bear coals of loue that burn so clearly, and yet leau me helplesse merely? Is that loue? Forsooth, I trow, if I saw my good dog grieved, and a help for him did know, my loue should not be bellued, but he were by me reliewed. No, she hates me, well away, feigning loue, somewhat to please me. For she knows, if she display all her hate, death soon would seize me, and of hideous torments ease me. Then adieu, dear flock, adieu. But, alas, if in your straying Inuenly Stella meet with you, tell her, in your piteous blaying, her poor slaw is vneust decaying. 10th Song. O dear life, when shall it be that mine eyes thine eyes shall see, and in them thy mind discover whether absence how had forced thy remembrance to divorce from the image of thy loue? Or if I myself find not, after parting aught forgot, nor debarred from beauty's treasure, let not tongue aspire to tell in what high joys I shall dwell. Only thought aims at the pleasure. Thought, therefore, I will send thee to take the place for me. Long I will not after tarry, there vn seen, thou mayest be bold, those fair wonders to behold, which in them my hopes do carry. Thought, see thou no place forbear, enter browly Uri where, seize on all to her belonging. But if thou wouldst guarded be, fearing her beams, take with thee strength of liking, rage of longing. Think of that most grateful time when my leaping heart will climb, in thy lips to how his biding, there those roses for to kiss, which do breathe a sugared bliss, opening rubies, pearls diuiding. Think of my most princely power, which I blessed shall dower with my greedy liquorous senses, beauty, music, sweetness, loue, while she doth against me prue her strong darts but weak defences. Think of those dailyings, when with dewe-like murmurings, with glad moaning, past anguish, we change eyes, and heart for heart, each to other do depart, yoing till ioi makes verses languish. O my thoughts surcease, thy delights my woes incresse, my life melts with too much thinking. Think no more, but die in me, till thou shalt rued be, at her lips my nectar drinking. 11th Song. Who is it that this dark night underneath my window plaineth? It is one who from thy sight being, exiled, disday neth uri other vulgar light. Why, alas, and are you he? Be not yet those fancies changed? Dear, when you find change in me, though from me you be estranged, let my change to ruin be. Well, in absence this will die. Leau to see, and leau to wonder. Absence sure will help, if I can learn how myself to sunder from what in my heart doth lie. But time will these thoughts remow. Time doth work what no man knoweth. Time doth is the subct prue. With time still the affection groweth in the faithful turtle dewe. What if we new beauties see, will they not stir new affection? I will think they pictures be, image-like, of saints' perfection, poorly counterfeiting thee, but your reason's purest light bids you leau such minds to nourish. Dear, do reason no such spite, nor doth thy beauty flourish more than in my reason's sight. But the wrongs loue bears will make loue at length leau undertaking. No, the more fools it doth shake, in a ground of so firme making deeper still they drea the stake. Peace, I think that some Jew ere come no more, least I get anger. Bliss, I will my bliss forbear, fearing, sweet, you to endanger, but my soul shall harbor there. Well, be gone. Be gone, I say, lest that Argus eyes pursue you. Ovniust is fortune's sway, which can make me thus to leaues you, and from lotes to run away.